So, hello everyone. We are here back with a new neighbor today. That is Patrick Garrett, and Patrick might be maybe the first world chief drinking officer. I don't know if there's another, but he's the CDO of Bourbon Banter and DrinkCurious, and it is doing such amazing things with Burb. So, we invite him today to tell us a little bit more. But first, Pat, just introduce yourself better and your community.
Sure. Thank you so much. My name is Patrick Garrett, and as he said, I am the founder and chief drinking officer of Bourbon Banter and DrinkCurious. Bourbon Banter is a whiskey news and review website we launched 12 years ago, and we're one of the top 10 whiskey websites in the country with a team of about 17 people who write and contribute content about bourbon and other styles of whiskey. And DrinkCurious is the new members community that we launched about a month ago on the Circle platform. And it is a way for us to bring together several different groups that we had. We had a Patreon community, we had a Slack community, we had some Facebook stuff, and we pulled it all together in one place to kind of create the 2.0 version of what we think a spirits community should look like.
And Pat, going back with choosing all these platforms and merging all together, what makes you choose Burb in the first place?
So when we launched the new Drink Curious community, we were needing something to allow us to really automate and streamline a lot of the back end operations. I've got a great team who writes and contribute content, but I'm the one responsible for the majority of all the operational aspects. So finding a automation tool that would allow me to do everything from welcome new members to put them in the proper groups based on their membership level, to scheduling out reminders, everything from, simply, hey, make sure you fill out your profile, right? To giving them updates on things that are coming out and just streamlining all those back-end messages that I don't want to have to be responsible getting up every day and doing that. So I was looking for a tool that would allow me to do that. And Burb came highly recommended, and I dove in, and it's been a great tool in my arsenal to make my life easier.
I'm glad it's making your life easier. You mentioned about streamlining and a lot of features that you are already using, but is there a exclusive feature that you use the most, or you have a great example to share with us, even with onboarding you mentioned to help members to the profile, or just like you're a fan of just catching messages for the whole week? How does that work in your case?
Well, my favorite feature, and quite frankly, without this, I don't know what I would be doing, quite frankly, is I have several different membership levels based on the style of community that we have. And so when someone signs up and becomes a paying member, I want to be able to tag them and be able to send them and everyone else in that group certain messages. So to do that manually, especially as we scale, would be a huge waste of time in terms of doing it manually. So what Burb allows me to do is when someone joins a membership level, to automatically tag them. So I basically seg them into the different groups. And so from day one of them becoming a paying member, I have the ability to message them because each one of our membership levels has different perks, different benefits, and this allows me to more easily do that. So that's probably my favorite feature. And really, it is the feature that led me to Burb and the ability to do that because I had looked at some other tools. And while some of them were functional, they're a little bit more complicated. And that's really what I like about Burb is the fact that it's a lot easier to use than a lot of the other platforms. And so it's allowed me to implement automations on a much faster pace and allowed me to focus on the other things that are going to drive new members.
Again, I'm glad it's making it easier for you and streamlining everything. So, as I mentioned, this is a quick interview, and we could spend more time here talking with each other. But lastly, what are some tips that you can share with fellow neighbors on board that wants also to do the same that you're doing?
So what are some things that I can share to them to kind of use it the same way? Well, I find one of the things that's really useful when creating things in Burb is to come up with a very structured naming system. So when I go in and I create automations, I have them in different categories. I have operational automations, I have tasks, I have requests, and I actually create a spreadsheet where I put all of these in there with details of what they are. And then I make sure the names in my spreadsheet match what's in Burb. And that allows me to have a quick library, because as you add more and more automations, it becomes a longer and longer list. So a good naming strategy is key, and understanding then how these flow together. So I'm able to actually very easily reference, if I have someone, we have our starter community level, it's called Social Drinker. And I have automations in there, right? They come in, they get tagged. I send them a welcome message. I think it's very important. I then wait a certain number of days, remind them to fill out their profile. So I think through the onboarding process, and I create specific automations and messages specifically for that. I have triggers that will notify me in Slack, which is a tool we use for the backend business, when new members join, so I can go in and check out the information. But really just making sure you have things named and think through the journey of your members and what you want them to experience. You can build really, really powerful sequences that really will help boost engagement and get them to be much more active members of the community.
Yeah, and this is why I love that we are chatting right now. Maybe you're like, I never heard a spreadsheet of automations with Burb, so that's great. Like, it's getting so many ideas for other members to build something more detailed and structured. So thanks for sharing with us, Patrick. If you also want to chat more with Patrick, he's on the community. You can connect with him there, and we love to hear what else he'll build next with Burb. Thanks, Patrick. See you
Thank
in
you
the
so
next
much.
one.
Cheers.